Welcome back to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, and today I want to bring you the 5 building blocks of preparedness.
Let's get this showboat on the road, shall we? Yeah, boy. We did it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That hill you see over in the distance there, you can just barely make out the fire tower on the top of that sucker. Stitching Mountain, there's some rain coming down through the valleys. Fulfilling promises. One subscriber at a time. That's Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.
Number 1 is going to be information and awareness. You want to understand the risks in your area, the potential hazards, the weather reports, things of that nature. Your situational awareness. You need to be acutely aware when you're out and about and doing things in public places because, let's face it, folks, evil exists. Number 2 is going to be your planning. You're going to want to develop a family emergency plan. You're going to want to establish meeting points and communication strategies. You're also going to want to plan your evacuation routes and multiples of those. You're also going to want to create a communications plan. We talk a whole lot here on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival about having a comms plan and having a no comms plan. Super important building block of preparedness. Your supplies, right? That's number 3. You have to build yourself a kit. Just the essentials. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to spend buku dollars to do this. You need water, at least a gallon per person per day. You need non-perishable foods. You need first aid items and the skills on how to employ those items. You're also going to want a flashlight, extra batteries, if you don't have a rechargeable flashlight. If you do have a rechargeable flashlight, I highly recommend getting yourself a battery bank, right? Something like this guy right here, right? This thing's fantastic, 50,000 milliamps. It's going to charge my devices multiple times before I need to recharge this. Small solar panel, you can get some more juice back in this thing and keep on trucking. Small things like that, guys. You don't have to spend a fortune, right? And you need to think about your personal needs, right? Your medications, especially if you're on prescriptions, you need to have those. You need hygiene items. You need all of your documents. Don't forget to bring some cash with you. In a disaster, sometimes the ATMs don't work. Sometimes those credit card machines don't work. A lot of stores will go to cash only. So you need to make sure you have some cash on hand so that you can get the basic things you need if you don't have them already. Skills, number 4, the basic skills, right? CPR, first aid, those kind of things are huge, If you can expand that knowledge even further, all the better for you and your family. Basic survival skills, right? How to purify water, how to start a fire, how to make shelter. Those 3 basic skills are going to take you really far in preparedness. Some other things you might want to know, some self-defense methods, right? Perhaps some de-escalation methods as well. This doesn't just go for firearms, martial arts. Sometimes just a little psychology on how to de-escalate a situation can go a really long way. You're also going to want to know fire safety, right? Because events happen, and know how to use a fire extinguisher, guys. That's super duper important. And number 5, finally, is your mindset. You need to remain calm, stay focused on the tasks at hand. You need to keep a positive attitude, right? Another thing is a proactive approach. You want to take a proactive approach to your problems. You don't want to let them build up and become worse problems. You need to nip that in the butt as soon as possible. The building blocks work together to create you a comprehensive strategy of preparedness. And if you focus some of your efforts on some of these small areas, it can have a really big impact on your overall preparedness, folks. A few of the things I want to get into aside from the basic building blocks are some lesser known methods that you can work on in your preparedness. Community networking and skill sharing, super huge. I mean, that's why I created Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, was to get on here and build a community, share some skills, share some knowledge, and learn a lot. There's a whole lot of people out here who have a whole lot to offer, so it's super helpful to take that advice and take constructive criticism, guys. You also might want to learn some bartering and trade skills, knowing the value of something after SHTF can have big dividends for you and your group. The gray man theory. Now, it's not a 24/7 thing, but something you might want to think about if you go into an area where you need to blend in, right? Not something you're going to use all the time. You also want to learn about information gathering, how to gather good information, good intel. You don't want, we think this guy or we may have seen. You need facts, guys, facts. Alternative communication methods, that's a huge one, huge one. Radios, if you know how to make a signal fire, anything like that can be super beneficial to you and your preparedness. Mental preparedness and stress management. This is something I think we all need to work on, especially myself. You need to be able to calm down in high stress situations. There's a lot on the line and a lot of people are counting on you. That can be super stressful in an environment where things aren't going quite as planned. So super important to practice strategies to be able to calm yourself down, think clearly, and execute a plan that you already have prepared. Scenario planning, that's huge. Absolutely humongous. If you can work through these scenarios in your head ahead of time, it's going to give you at least an idea of something that you might want to do. If you go through these scenarios in your head and you say, wow, that was a really bad idea, I thought it all the way through, you don't have to make those mistakes when seconds count. Another great skill that you guys can try to learn for your preparedness is something that I'm looking to learn more about this year myself, and that's foraging and wild edibles. It would be absolutely amazing to not have to pack a ton of food in your bug out bag and know that you can walk down a trail and pick yourself a salad along the way. Trapping and basic fishing. These skills are, well, fishing's a little more common. Trapping, not so much. Trapping is a great way to help sustain yourself. Traps work when you're not there. Trapping with simple traps like snares, box traps, things of that nature, they can provide food for you while you're busy doing other things, guys. So definitely something you may want to look into for your preparedness. Well, this has been my basic building blocks of preparedness and a few others that you might be interested in. I want to thank you for joining me here on Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. I've noticed that around 40% of the folks who view our videos here are not subscribed. So I'm reaching out to you, man. Please hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you being here. We really appreciate your views. Share this out if you know somebody who's interested in preparedness and just kind of trying to dabble their toes in it a little bit. Maybe this can help be the spark that helps ignite the preparedness journey in them. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, and we will catch you on the next one.